the Living Realms champion here of the OTS. There you go. You won with, what did you win with?
Won with Malice Ignis.
Malice Ignis. Do you want to show his deck? Go on then, show us.
So, starters, Stock, Terra, 2 field, 3 cat, 2 mouse, 2 rabbit, sorry.
Did you ever feel like the cat was clumping your hands, the 3?
No. The cat, you kind of need to play 3 due to these being at 2. Even if you don't feel these, I normally have like Dormouse glued to my hand for some reason most of the time. But 3 cat is just like the consistency boost, because as long as you see like cat and field spell, cat and bestial, cat and marcher, or even like cat and backup, you're still playing. Obviously we're on Wizard backup targets. Wizard doesn't come up much, but it's still really good to have. Just because it allows you to play through more stuff than if you was to not. Normally you'll end up searching Marcher off of this, but having it is still really good. Like Cyber Sock sucks, but it's also like second nature. Most of the good stuff you're making is Cyber Sock. You're rarely making anything that isn't a Cybers monster in the extra deck. So Wizard just helps more. And the I think
has the hidden effect ever come up?
I think so. I think it came up once. It was like, oh wait, that's just like death. It just let me punch over with access code Cryptex. I didn't have enough gas to blow up everything on the board. And then the 2 pseudo marcher.
Do you ever feel like you would play more because there's more and more showing up in deck lists?
I would, but not as extension. I play them as non-engine alternatives because it's good for extension, but it's also, I find it really good in the Mitsu matchup, because if they have the big Ritual Engrave, just banishing it at some point, if they greed and make the red one, they lose access to it and they're just stuck gaining follow-up and you just kill them into the sun. Or you try and hit them when they go to tribute with like prayers or purification. It just punishes them more, and Druis is
broken.
Yeah, Druis is Druis. Like, this card just helps out boards. Like, this is insane. Honestly, I rip 3, but I understand why. The card is too good. And then 3 traps.
Oh, you're playing TB11.
If you're not playing TB11, you're behind.
So you think TB11 is mandatory?
Honestly, yeah. Like, if you're trying to lead with MTP, you're playing into draw for basically no reason, which is why I am not on I Meet You. It randomly makes you lose more to draw, and sorry, you lose more to draw for like no reason, because the way you play through Nib most of the time is backup, is make Wicked search backup and you hold the backup if you think they have Nib, because if they Nib you, so long as you have backup, it does nothing. Like, where it would previously end your turn, like end of main Nib, you just hold this, is like, okay, whatever, I'll go make Topologic, I'll go make Crypto, I'll go make Firewall Crypto. And having 2 ways to dodge target interruption, I think is better than having the 1, because 06 can be used, but it's very awkward to do it well. And this also just helps the Topologic, because if you go full combo, you're getting access to all of these anyway, and if you're going Topologic, you're not usually committing as many resources, so you get to keep the TB11, and that gives you another free access to Topologic Bomb, which, like, I've had times where you can do it like 3 times in a turn and still get like Binder, follow-up, set this, and whatever the hell else you have.
So this is mandatory, you think?
Yeah. I don't think these 2 are mandatory. I would highly suggest at least playing with TB for a time. If draw becomes a lot more prevalent, which I think it probably does, Mitsu is very, very common, then I think playing TB is needed because there's no point like constructing your deck in such a way where you lose to draw when you don't need to. And then one of the mirror. This card is like actually insane. But
does the banish to add come up a lot?
Oh yeah, like you're normally most of the time you're banishing this off of field spell. You can greed if you've already used field spell, you've already got terror, you've already whatever'd it. You can add it off of ransom, banish off cat, and then cat just like gets 10 billion cards for you for free. It's also not one effect per turn. So if you open it, you can use it as Veiler to brick something that's annoying. Go plus off of it, and then later in the turn Binder banish it or March Hare banish it, and then get like more cards. I normally find myself banishing monsters, but I definitely think there were some times where I should have been going for traps. A lot of the skill I think in the grind at least is knowing when to banish a trap, because I know round 1, game 1 against Dragon Ruler, I definitely realized after the fact that I should have been banishing like 07 with Binder when it kept coming back because I had a Crypto stock on board, and I should have been putting this back to set off of a Rabbit later for more interaction. So for some reason I just kept banishing mouse monsters when I really should not have. Which was fine, I still won the game, he didn't draw.
Never punished.
Yeah, never punished.
Never punished.
Never punished. But that's definitely like the skill I think in it. It's just like micromanagement, because you're not trying to kill them into the sun going first. You're just trying to set up Binder in grave, bunch of mouse cards in grave, and just this is the grind game I offer. You cannot kill me unless you get rid of this Binder, and you cannot get rid of this Binder. Like the only way to get rid of the Binder is to brick it in extra deck, and you've already burned some 06. But you can also just like get around that by going through Crypto as well. So it's a little hard for them to keep you off of it, really. And then...
Okay, now for the non-engine?
Yeah, the 20 billion non-engine.
How much non-engine do you play?
Off the top of my head, I think it's around 20 including the Bystios. I think it's 18 if not. So we're on 3 Imperm, 3 Ash, 3 Thua. Ash Imperm. I don't treat this as a hand trap. This is the I don't want to get Forward, I don't want to get Meow, so I don't want to get a really good card. This kind of sucks at the moment, but like the cleared choke point of like Duo Drive Habakiri, there's very little to Ash against Malice. You can Ash the Wicked, you can Ash the Binder on the
Don't they chain block anyways, the Wicked?
Depends on what they summon, because if most of the time they end up going Wicked and then spec a Lingerabo to the zone, so then they go Wicked, banish a guy they haven't banished yet, and he gets to go Ash it, and they don't get the backup. But they do also still get the guy spec back, and then like Link 3 continue as normal. Like they just don't get backup, so it needs to be paired with something else. Imperm is just kind of here for Impulse. There's not really much about this, like I haven't found much Fiendsmith recently, and this is really for like Duo Drive specifically, or Splash Mage or Mouse normal with no back row. But I don't think this card's really good at the moment, but there's not really much else I can cut out for, to be honest. And then 3 Forward is 3 Forward, like Maxi Smile. I don't think I need to say more. This card is good and isn't 10 billion quid, so 3 draw. Love this card at the moment. You get to, if you're under Fua, you don't have Ash, you get to draw yourself, because most times you don't...
You draw yourself, you never keep it.
Yeah, I would, if I know it's a matchup, if I'm going first, I normally end up siding out Imperm, I'll end up siding out Fua, and then depending on the matchup, I'll side out whatever else. And I will, if I get Forward or Meow Stop Ruliad, I can draw myself after a time, just so they don't get draws. To be completely honest, I think I played, I went full send into a Fua, like round 3, I think, and I still won like no diff. It was like you go full combo in this deck, you don't care about how many cards they draw normally, but this is just installation, so they're not drawing into like Lancia, Nib, Impulse, whatever else. Like the problem is when they draw into more hand traps, if they draw into non-engine, they can't beat you ever. And then obviously it's just like really
FTK.
Yeah, it's just really good against a lot of things at the moment. Like if you're in a mirror and they lead AI meet you, hit this, they don't get backup search, which means they're weak to a bunch of other hand traps they wouldn't be weak to otherwise. They also don't get they don't get ransom search, they don't get cat draw, they don't get binder draw. So there's a lot of little things that add up to your advantage that they just don't get. And then it's just like, yeah, it's an FTK against it too. Like they just don't play into this. And there's also just like a bunch of other random decks in the format that just fall to this. Like Dragon Ruler, I dueled White Forest, I drawn him twice, he just couldn't play. This is like really, really good. 3 Impulse, practically the reason to play a Light Dark deck is I never see it, annoyingly. Or if I do see it, it's when I'm already winning the game, regardless of it. But this card is really nice when it does. I would not recommend playing without this card. It's really, really nice. And then the final two Nib. This is primarily there for the Malice matchup, because if they're on Allied Code, they go effective Allied Code, you go Nib, and they can't out it. If they go end of main, you drop Nib, and they have to, if they have backup, they play, if they don't, they don't. So ideally, if they burn backup to get to their board, you just drop this end of main and they end with very little. There are also just some like random rogue things that come up, and you can, if the Mitsu player is greedy and goes for the red one, you can drop a Nib in your turn to try and clear some of the board, which isn't bad, but I don't think it's come up for me. I think I was probably losing the games where it did come up.
Okay.
There's not really much to say about it.
How do you handle the confliction with Impulse and Nib and Droll and Fua?
Well, normally you're dropping Fua before Impulse, because you want them to play into the Impulse a little bit to draw cards. Similar for Nib. It's hard to comment because I've rarely drawn these two together, or if I have drawn them, I've dropped the Impulse first, and then for some, like, couple turns later, I've just drawn the Nib. I don't really feel it otherwise. Like, I don't see this card enough as I should. Like, for some reason, Nib and Ash are just, like, glued to my hand 90% of the time, which I don't know how, but it's just those two specifically. Ideally, you just want to drop this first, but if, like, the Impulse is turn ending, you just Impulse that shit always. Like, there's no reason not to. And draw is similar. You draw like the first available point, so ideally they're gonna put themselves into a draw before they put themselves into an Impulse, because that's stopped them from playing, and this is the nail in the coffin. They're not playing through this and that if they're mid-suit. Like, they're just kind of not. They go like Habakiri, spec red guy, tribute red guy, get ritual. You drop draw, it's like, damn, okay, ritual, Impulse, GG, shake my hand. Like, it's just not,
okay.
They're not playing through it, most of the time at least. Unless the hand is like giga cracked and they're just gonna play through everything.
So that's the whole deck.
Yeah, that's the whole main.
Let's look at the extra deck.
Yeah. Extra, 1 Crypta, 1 Binder, 1 Ransom. These are the main 3. Not really much to say. Like, this is your kill them into the sun tool. This is the I will sit here for 3 turns if you make me, and I will win over the course of those 3 turns. This is how I win over the course of the 3 turns. This card is insane. This card is insane. This card is insane. Like, draw is a plus. Infinite grind game. This is how you help with the infinite grind game. Just like, okay, I'm gonna search field spell. and banish a Malice card from deck is like, yeah, no, this is so good. And this is normally how you kill. You make access code with this, target this, banish it from access code, spec back to 5k guys just swinging into your opponent for 10 billion damage. And then like cause firewall, access code, and bomber.
How do you like Bomber?
Bomber is amazing. Honestly,
You like it?
I would not drop this card at all. This is how you're playing through Chaos Hunter. Do not play Chaos Hunter. That card is a fraud. Malice will play through it purely by this card alone. Unless the hand is like ass, in which case you're winning anyway. But even like against random things, this is really good. So in the mirror, Crypto Firewall isn't really enough. You need to go Topologic to try and keep them off the normal. And also into like a bunch of random stuff as well. Like against Mitsu round 3, it was, I made Bomber and they just had to try and play into it, and they ended up getting to a state where they could play, but they couldn't do anything. Like they made Dark for some reason, failed the literacy check, didn't read Bomber, and summoned a guy to his own Dark Point 2, and then Bomber triggered, wiped the thing, and they just didn't get anything from it. Access code just killed them into the sun.
Did you ever use Bomber's second effect in battle?
No, but I did think about it at one point. It was like, why am I doing this? I can just like nuke the board, summon a bunch of guys, and convert this into an access code for 6k and just punch them harder. I love this card. I wish I had room for a second, but...
Second?
Honestly, I would say second, because there are some states where you want to make a second access code, or like they out the first one, and access code isn't a once per turn. There isn't a once per turn on this card. So you just like go, okay, make a second, kill them, but I just don't have room for it. And then Firewall is the other board. So normally you try and end on Crypta, Firewall pointing. So you either make Crypta and Firewall and EMC, and then you try and stick a Crypta under it, or you make Crypta and then turn that into a Firewall with the Blinder engrave. Normally ideally you want to set up at least these two engrave. So you just like, with Marchair in hand, you get to go Marchair, banish Binder, or 06 spec Binder, banish this, banish another Malice name, like ideally Rabbit. Rabbit spec back. Rabbit specs back, sets 07. You get to banish the Rabbit for 07, and then you get to Crypta. So it just turns into like 3 interactions off of 1 card, and it's still like infinite recursion because, oh no, they out everything. Anyway, my turn. Banish Binder, banish a bunch of things. 10 billion card advantage.
Also the spice.
So then we're on Double Ling.
Double Ling. Mandatory?
Yeah, Double Ling is mandatory. You need it for the Wicked line, and it's also just really, really good into playing into stuff. Playing into Mouse Mirror just bricks the back row. Playing into Mitsu bricks Purification. Also bricks Impulse Imperm going first, so it's also just like really good. The mirror pretty much comes down to who can handle the Ling Reavers better. It will always be a pain playing second into the mirror because they can just, if you're not careful, they can just turn any stray guy into a Ling Reaver and it just bricks half your back row. So it's a little difficult in that regard. 1 Splash, 1 Wicked, 1 Lizardos.
Oh, you're playing Lizardos?
Yeah, Lizardos. So it's weird because I was going through Splash Mage first most of the time, and just unnecessarily cyber slocking me, and then at some point I had to realize I was like, why am I not just going Lizardos, take the extra banish, and just like save Splash Mage to play through stuff later? Like there's no reason to go through this first when you can always make Lizardos. Lizardos is always safer than this because this gets impermed, you need extension. This gets removed from the field, you need extension. This only like, and people have randomly gone Veiler as well for some reason, despite that card being horrible. This is just like, this isn't weak to Veiler, this isn't weak to Imperm. It's not even weak to Impulse either, so it's just like, you go through this first most of the time before your Cyber's locked, and like, there's no reason not to. Wicked is really good. I would recommend trying to find a way to make this first, even if it is playing into Nid, because the only point where they can nib you is on the Summon of Wicked. And that is, not a lot of people see that if they are on it. And even then, a lot of people like, just don't know when to ash me. Like, I've had some weird ashes. They've ashed, like, TB Spec, they've ashed Cat Draw 2, they've never ashed this, and they never ash, like, Ransom Grab Field Spell or Binder Come Back, which, albeit Binder Come Back is rare, it does happen, and trying to hold an ash for it isn't an awful idea. So you can kind of force them into that direction with other hand traps. But this card is just, like, this card is really, really good. I don't see why you wouldn't go through this first. Then One Link Spider for Nib. I got nibbed, I need backup to be alive, let's make backup live. Not really much else to it. And then the 3 flex slots, I'd say 1 Almirage, 1 SP, and 1 White Binder. Second White Binder.
Second White Binder, okay.
Yeah, so Almirage is there for you when you open like 4 non-engine plus backup, because you need a way to get a second guy on board. So you go like normal Ash or normal Joel or normal Fula, turn it into an Almirage, backup effect, spec, backup effect, dump like any Malice name really, to search and discard it, and then link to Splash Mage, and that gets you into link 3, so that gets you into Ransom. Ransom gets Field Spell banishes Mirror, and that's you off to the races. So that's just like everything. SP, I don't really know why SP's here, to be honest. It's just kind of here from like when I previously played the deck, and the way to play through Nib was make SP with Ransom, banish the Ransom, so you always have the Field Spell. It's kind of here for board breakery stuff. You're rarely ever making this. The only 2 times I made this in recent memory, I made it once when I got Fluid, gave them a draw and lost, and then I made it again into like full Mitsu, Fiendsmith, Ryseal board, and I lost because I discarded the wrong card for the Ame Negates. It's kind of a good card. It's not going to come up often, but it's still like, it's still good enough to play. There's no reason not to. If you're really like wanting something else, like second access code, you probably could. And then second White Binder. This was incorrect. I should not have been playing second Binder. Maybe if
what would you place it with?
I would have placed it with Dark.
Okay.
The only reason I lost game 1 in round 5 was because I wasn't playing Dark, because it was a Malice Mirror, and we went for, I was playing into his board, so I just kind of go through everything, go through Wizard, go through Marcher, go through whatever I can, and I finally get out all the interactions, but I've gone through Splash Mage, and I have like 2 guys, and I just can't do anything meaningful with the 2 guys to like convert it into play. If it was Dark, I think I could have had a chance, because I don't think I would have gone through Splash first. I would have probably gone Dark, and if he destroys it with anything, I obviously get the search. If he banishes it, I don't think I do. I'm a little hasty on Dark's wording. But I think I would have had a chance if it wasn't, if this wasn't second Binder. It might, if Regenesis Kashtira becomes more popular, which I think it is at the moment, I would recommend playing the second Binder, and you could possibly cut the SP for a Dark. But I would not have played the second Binder here in hindsight. I just didn't get it. Don't know why I was prepping for Kashtira, it just wasn't here, but I just wanted to respect it anyway. But I think that was incorrect.
That was incorrect, okay.
Yeah, I don't think I would do it going forward. I think this should be Dark, and I'll probably play with that going forward for a bit. That's extra, so just side, which I need to get out. So side, the Nibiru, Just for like the random matchups where you want a third Nibiru or Malice Mirror. I normally put this in over Imperm alongside a couple other things. 2 Baldrake for Mitsu. I wanted more graveyard hate, and I'm very confident in my Malice matchups, where I was like, I only really need like the 5 slots and extra for it. I don't think I need much else. I also don't really need anything for going first, because going first I should always win the game in theory, unless I like blunder so hard or they just have like every one of them bails them out of it. So I wanted something for Mitsu to help banish the things in grave if they try and do like tribute the Arme in your turn, try and spec back to wipe your board, you have a Bestial for it. In that similar vein, I'm also on 3 Crow. I was also doing a lot of Fiendsmith, and this, well, Fiendsmith and testing, and this also just helps, and like, Crow is insane. This card is like actually...
What would you Crow?
So Crow, the ritual spell on the add back isn't an awful idea because it means they don't get the second ritual. So if they spec Habakiri, they're just gonna eat shit most of the time. Against Live Twin Fiendsmith a couple weeks ago, I was going second, and the hand was weird. It was like, I think it was Lilith. I think it was Lilla Frost and not much else. So they normal the Frost, turn it into deal. They go deal effect, bin the Lilla tree, and then I went Crow on res so they don't get the draw, and then they just like had nothing else to do because I had the I think I had Ash for the Requiem. Oh, actually no, I had a second Crow and I just crowed the Engraver. So it just like couldn't do anything, couldn't convert it. Like also just like against Mitsu, you just quick effect banish. It's more easier to do than a Bestial because a Bestial needs the opponent to control a monster. So just like being able to do it whenever with Crow is so good. It's also just a bunch of random rogue that it's really nice into. Then 2 Phantasme and the 3 Lancia. This is for Malice specifically. I'm very confident in my Malice matchup because of the nibs, and playing the deck means I know where to hit it better than most. I definitely think this was also kind of here as a like splash for Fiendsmith Live Twin. But it didn't come up as much as I wanted it to, but I wanted something else for Malice, just to help me like dig into my other stuff, so like dig into Nib, dig into Lancia, dig into Impulse, dig into like Ash isn't awful. And then Consistency, 1 of Talents, 1 of Golbai, and 2 I Meet You. I think if I was going to a big event, I would probably want to play this in main, but I am also fine trading the slight lack of consistency for a better matchup into draw and more non-engine. I think that is a fair trade-off, because this gets drawed, you don't get the backup search, you're not going to get ransom, you're not going to get cap. It just means you're not going as plus off your cards as you should, and then this is... I bring this in most of the time going second, especially against Mitsurugi. Like, this card is so free to trigger most of the time, because it's just like, you breathed, okay, tribute a guy, get 10 cards. So this just helps you break the board, and the goal is to just kill them into the sun as fast as possible. Going first, I also bring it in if I know there's like 20 billion non-engine, so I can just protect myself against more of it. Callby is practically mandatory. Lancia ends your turn a lot more than Chaos Angel. There are some hands that can play around it to an extent. Like, I think I had a hand where it was, I had like Dormouse, March Hare, like Dormouse, Marcher, Impulse, Mirror, and I went for normal Dormouse effect. They chain Lancia, I chain Marcher, banch the other Marcher, spec, link to Splash Mage, bring a guy back, link 3 Binder set 07, set Mirror, set Impulse, pass, and you're ending on a non-target banish, the pseudo Veiler. You know you're getting follow-up because you're getting a Marcher back in their turn, and you're also banishing the Dormouse, or you're also banishing from their grave, and you're also getting MTP search. So that was very good. But
Any changes to the side?
honestly, I don't think so. Like, I think the only change I would have to make would be if I wanted to move this to main. And
What would you replace it with?
I don't really know. I think if I was to move this to main, I'd probably have to move the entire lot into main. Or at least, like, those 3, I feel. So then I could play, like, the One of Talons, 2 Thrust, and then, like, a Thrust target, which would probably be Simmel Archfiends or Sanctum, if I had to think, but I'm kind of confident with these just kind of being inside for now. It's like this non-engine is very good against Malice, and it's very good against Mitsu, and it also just, like, the main deck non-engine anyway just has overlap for Ryzeal, so you're very like generalist in what you can throw your opponent, and the side is more like the scalpel. It's like graveyard, okay, Crow's coming in. If it's light or dark, that's coming in. If it's 10 billion combo, that's coming in. And if it's Link, then Phantasmic comes in. Lancia also does double for Chris Strong Dewey, but I do not care about that deck because White Binder is insane, and it's like, it's passing on Omni Negate and a pop. So it's not really doing much.
So that's it. Any shout-outs? Do you want to shout out anybody?
Living Realms, best locals. I have not been to a better place. Buttery for making my life miserable with every misplay on Malice he does. I think that's it off the top of my head. But
All right. See you guys. Thank you, Nathan. Champion.
thanks.